Hi, I'm James from Driftworks. The Rota Grid is one of our best sellers and it's one of our favourite wheels as well. But it's available in loads of different sizes, loads of different colours and fitments, and we get a load of inquiries asking what the differences are, what's special about each different kind. So we thought we'd just take a few minutes to explain what's what. So we're going to start off with the 15 and 16 inch wheels. Here we've got a 15 by 6.5 ET40 and a 15 by 7 ET40. You can see the main difference with the widths is in the spoke design. The 6.5's got quite flat spokes, whereas the 7 inch wide, the spokes have a slight curve to them. These are quite high offset wheels, like ideal track day wheels, real easy fitment, loads of brake caliper clearance. Moving on to the 16 inch, we've got here the 16 by 7 ET40 and the 16 by 8 ET10. We've got these two out because it's a real good illustration of the difference between the flat spokes of the standard Rota Grid range and the Rota Grid Drift, which tends to be much wider widths, lower offset wheels, a much more aggressive spoke design to them. Then finishing off the 16 inch range, we've got these 16 by 8 from our commercial range. These are ET5 real low offset. The 6x139s are typically a 4x4 fitment. These are real popular with stuff like the Nissan Navara. Because there's so many different variations available, it can get quite confusing, and we get asked a lot about which wheels have the flat spokes, which ones have the concave-y dished spoke design. So with the 17s, what we've done, we've got one of each of the widths available out to show you, so we can get an understanding of how the width and the offset of the wheel has an influence on the spoke design. So starting off here, we've got a 17 by 7.5 ET40. Because it's a 7.5 inch width, this is the Rota Grid lightweight range, whereas everything wider than the 7.5 is called a Rota Grid Drift. So you can see here the spokes are quite flat, quite a high offset wheel. Moving on to the first of the Rota Grid Drifts, we've got the 17 by 8. This is an ET35. You can see we start to have a slight curve to the spokes here. Then moving on, we've got the 17 by 8.5. This is an ET30. Again, you see the curve increasing. 17 by 9 ET35. This particular wheel is actually a 5x120 BMW fitment. And then the widest, lowest offset we do at present is a 17 by 9.5. This is an ET12. You can see you really get a really aggressive concave spoke design there. Moving on to the 18s, we're going to start with the 18 by 8.5. It's actually from our commercial range again. This is a wheel that's been specifically designed for the T5 Transporter. You can see from the slightly chunkier spokes that it's a more heavy-duty wheel. It's got the high load rating you need for the Transporter. Then the rest of the 18s, these are all grid drifts. So starting off with a 18 by 8.5. This is a ET42. Got 18 by 9.5 ET38 and 18 by 10 ET35. And you can see how the shape of the spokes varies depending on the width and the offset. The 18s are what we run on the Driftworks Skyline, and on that we've got the 8.5s on the front and the 10s on the rear. New for this year, the Rota Grid Drift's available in 19 inch, including 5x112 fitment for VW and Audi. Again, just a selection of sizes and colours here. We've got the 19 by 8.5, this is a ET45. We've got 19 by 9.5 ET20, and then the big daddy, 19 by 10.5 ET20. So there we have it, as just a small selection we've got out of the huge range of options available with the Rota Grids. You can see we haven't mentioned the Grid V, which is what's on the front of the Corolla there. That's the deep dished baby brother of the Rota Grid. That's really a separate range in its own right. You can find out more about that and the rest of the Rota range on the Driftworks website. You can also use our intelligent systems there to find out what wheel's suitable for your car in terms of the style, the colours, offsets, and work out what's best for you. We're also doing finance and next day shipping on all UK orders, and some of the fastest and cheapest shipping on all the international orders. There we have it. If you've got any questions, pop onto the Driftworks web shop or send us an email to sales@driftworks.com. Thanks.